It's after 5 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah. No judgment.
I'm Michael Bennet. I'm a senator from Colorado. Let's sip and skim. Voodoo Ranger, delicious. As president, I would do everything I could to protect women's reproductive rights, including making sure that any judge that I appointed to the court would uphold Roe versus Wade, that we had a Justice Department that aggressively pushed back on attempts at the state and local level to erode a woman's right to choice. This is something that's very much at risk today in our politics in America. I think what we have to do is figure out ways of defraying the burden through reducing interest rates for people that have debt, and also allowing people to pay much less in their income to service their student debt. The other thing we need to do is reduce the cost of college, because it costs too freaking much to go to college, and that's the origin of our problem. We need universal background checks in this country. We've raised 3 daughters in the shadow of Columbine, and people are worried to go to school every single day and every single week because something might happen. And at the same time, we've been unable to demonstrate that we care about it because we haven't changed the law in 20 years. My take on the way the Trump administration is approaching immigration is that they are completely at war with our values. He's made that border a symbol of nativist hostility all over the world, and that's a shame for every one of us that believes that we're a nation of immigrants and a nation of laws. And then I was part of the Gang of 8 in 2013 that passed a bipartisan bill through the Senate, and I think it still today would form the basis for a bill that creates a pathway to citizenship for the 11 million people that are undocumented in this country. The highlights of the climate change plan that I introduced says no net carbon emissions by 2050. My plan's a little different from other people's plan because it focuses on the use of lands and oceans to help conserve by sequestering carbon in our land mass. My plan is called Medicare X. It builds on the Affordable Care Act. It is a public option that is administered by Medicare. It starts in rural areas that have 1 or fewer insurers, and then it rolls out to everybody in the country. It becomes available to small businesses as well. You'd pay a premium, but never more than 14% of your income on a sliding scale for health insurance. My #1 priority would be to address the lack of economic mobility we've had for the last 40 years that's made it impossible, even in a state like mine, with as dynamic economy as we have, made it impossible for people to afford housing, health care, early childhood education, and higher education.